Are an interesting one because, and I have told this story before on the old podcast I used to do, Bit Rated, but when I very first started streaming, I basically didn't see really a huge amount of point to any of it. I was like, you're there to, create a community, talk to people while playing a video game. All this extra crap doesn't make it. It doesn't, it doesn't mean anything. And I never really saw the point of emotes that much. When I very first became an affiliate, I wasn't expecting anyone to sub to me, and then someone did, and I was like, shit. I was not expecting that to happen. I should probably have some emotes, because without emotes, there's no reason to sub to someone.
They're
really.
just giving you, they're just.
Yeah, because even like when you very first start as well, like they're not hardly. It doesn't even really feel like they're giving you money, because you're not going to see that money for months. You need what is it, 60 quid or something? To accrue. Is it? Well, it's $100, isn't it?
$100, yeah. So it's about 80.
100 US.
Yeah.
So whatever that is.
So before you even see the money, you've got. So it's. I was like, this person's essentially put money into this, and they have to. I have to give them something. So I made these horrible emotes of my own face. It literally took me like 3 hours. I sat down, because I didn't even know how to do it. I sat down, watched YouTube videos on how to do it. I downloaded a free program, and I just made them in a couple of hours. They're so cursed. If you've seen the Mellar One Sour, they've got quite a similar kind of energy to that. They're awful, honestly.
Oh my god!
I was like, at least I've done something. They can be a placeholder until, I don't know, kind of whatever, until something happens, until I commission someone to make them, or someone does them for me, or whatever. And I just didn't really think a huge amount about it. I was like, well, I've got something for people to have. They're reaction emotes, so they're not completely useless and all this kind of thing. And I was like, I'd never sub to someone just for their emotes or whatever. And then I started getting into a bit more watching people and being active in chat. And when you're chatting, you almost always end up with some sort of emote at the end of a message
to express yourself.
Exactly, because it makes it easier to express yourself, so people know what you're trying to convey. Because obviously, if you're typing, it's quite hard sometimes to.
It is hard, yeah. And, you love your kappa.
Exactly, and I've always used emotes at the end of messages anyway. I think I use quite a lot, sort of compared to others maybe in sort of general chatting to people online and all this kind of thing. And I got these emotes that I used quite a lot, and I didn't realise how much I liked them and how much I appreciated them until I unsubbed and they were gone. And I was like, shit, I've got the perfect emote for this situation, but I can't use it. And that was a bit of a turning point for me, because I realized, I was like, hold on a second. I was like, I'm not like, it's at the time, for me, I was like, it's not worth me paying the £5 for the emotes, but I am now considering subbing to someone just because I like their emotes. And the way that I felt about the whole thing just changed in a heartbeat. And I realised that they can be quite important. I mean, at the end of the day, they are a side thing. They're not part of the main event. The main event is, you creating a show for people. But they're something that you can provide for people to enjoy, to have fun with, and they can use them anywhere once they've subbed. So, I mean, I wouldn't really say that they're not a huge amount. You don't really get advertising from them. I mean, you kind of do, but really not. Like, if you look at emotes as a way of advertising, then you're doing it wrong, because you might get, like, I don't know, 1 follower a year from your emotes if you're lucky. But the problem with emotes is that they cost a lot of money, as well. Aren't they like?
I think my artist is 30 something.
Right, that's still a lot of money when you consider that. Like, if you've been lucky enough to have 50 subs, there's 5 slots just for the tier 1s. Yeah. And then you've got, I think I counted it, it's 5 others. You've got your tier 2 emote, your tier 3 emote, 2-bit, so is it 2-bit emotes? And there's one other? Either way. I remember counting them.
Yeah, the 5 sub, tier 2, tier 3, and then I think you get to 1,000 bits.
Right.
Until it's unlocked when people get to that bit level, essentially.
That's right. But then you add that up, and that's what, 10 emotes for $30 each. That's $300. That is a lot of freaking dosh, right? And like, obviously, the idea is, like, it makes sense to spend money that you get from streaming on things like that on streaming. But obviously, like I mentioned, it takes a certain amount of time for things to come through. Like Twitch holds on to things for a long time, and I do agree with what Hippo said. Is it does seem to me that they do have quite a lot. They take a large slice as well, especially when you compare it to other platforms like YouTube. But literally, like of all the streaming platforms there are, I mean, obviously, I know that Twitch is the biggest one, but it's also the one with the worst split.
That's generally how it works, though, with those kind of things. Though, if you're the biggest one of it, you feel
you can get more, right?
Yeah, potentially. So I can see where people have issues with it, but at the same time, like it is nice. I definitely agree though with one thing that you said, Hippo. In like I do think that you maybe subbing at level 1, there probably is enough incentive to do that for some people on Twitch. Like especially if you've got 5 emote slots, most of the time the streamer will provide some sort of other perk that they solely provide. But but I do definitely think that and it's been historic and it's never been fixed, that to then upgrade to tier 2 or 3, there's almost no reason to do that.
Nah.
Yeah, like, it's more of a you want to support the streamer more,
yeah, it's a lot of extra
You're
money.
not doing it for the emote.
Exactly, it's a lot of extra money for almost nothing. You get one extra emote for tier 2, 2 for tier 3, but it's like 3 times the amount.
I agree with the pricing needing to be.
And it is a bit disappointing that it's been like that for so long and it's never been fixed. It's literally like it's been like that for as long as I've been on Twitch, which is what, like 3.5, 4 years or something.
Gosh, that's crazy.
So, but yeah, I mean, in terms of there's obviously what Twitch provides, and I think there's definitely between the Hero and Hippo and me, we've probably got a consensus that maybe I'm not sure saying it's not enough is quite fair, but there could definitely be more.
Be something that you can set up subs and that.
I've always thought that if you're creating like a sub perk to encourage people to sub, I think that's problematic. But if you're creating a sub perk because you want to give back to the people that give to you, that's
my viewpoint of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are being generous with me. I want to give something more back to them, essentially.
Yeah. So it is interesting. It's fun to add these things, I think, and it's fun to try and think of new things that you can do for your community.
To give back, like show your appreciation.
Yeah, and also it does strike me that sometimes it can be quite difficult because obviously getting emotes like commissioned and all this, it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's honestly a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. And but having said that, in order to just provide something, just a face emote is honestly, like, take it from me, like, and I'm really like, I'm all right on a computer, right? But when it comes to art and this kind of thing, I'm like the least artistic person you could possibly ever meet, and yet I managed to push out 3 face emotes in the space of about 3 hours, right? So I do find it a little bit disappointing sometimes when you do join a channel and they don't have any, because it does feel a little bit low effort sometimes. It's like, oh well, and it's the same with like sub badges and stuff. Like, I mean, my sub badges, I mean, they're not very good, but at least they're there. And
it goes with the channel, right? Because it's just your logo, but you colored it differently.
Yeah, and again, it's something that literally took me like I don't know, an hour to do in MS Paint or something. I think
mine took a little bit more to do.
Yeah, but yours are way nicer than mine. I feel a little bit sort of what's the word? A little bit split, because part of me wants to say, it doesn't matter. But another part of me, sort of like the viewer part of me,
the viewer aspect, because you've done both.
Yeah, because I have had it when I've gone into chat and you see that, especially someone who's been an affiliate for quite some time, and
for a while,
their sub badge is still, the Twitch star. And I did sub to someone recently, and I'm glad I subbed to them. They're great, but I was disappointed to learn that they don't have any emotes, and all this kind of thing. And when it doesn't require a huge amount of effort to make something, I think at the end of the day, I think the way that I feel, and I think a lot of people probably feel this way as well, is I think it's better to have something, even if it's utter crap, because at least then there's something there, and also it shows you're willing as well, and
You're
I think
willing to,
people
yeah.
really latch onto that. There's probably loads more to say about viewer perks, because there's so many potential viewer perks. Obviously, there's the whole thing with channel points, and I do like the whole idea of channel points as well. They're very customizable.
Yeah, like now you can make them do sounds and stuff too, right?
Yeah, you need a third party thing, but you can make them
Oh,
do
okay,
that.
it's a third party thing. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I gotcha. And then obviously they can impact your gameplay, and it lets them join in on.
It's literally just a website. It's actually really cool. There's actually, I think there's two websites. There's one that just plays sounds, but there's one that like fully can run scripts and stuff. So if you know what you're doing, it's actually a really powerful tool. You
Okay.
can make it so that like I've never figured out how to do it, but you know, like events on the chatbot, you can make it so that it runs events. So if someone does a thing, then you could have like an animation like walk across your screen or something, or this kind of thing. It's really cool. Like if I could figure it out, I think that's a thing that stops a lot of people. Like quite a lot of it's quite in depth, because when you're talking about running events, you're talking about code. And if you don't know how to code, get it. Kind of thing. I think there probably are people in the background trying to make things more user friendly, but at the moment there's a lot of things that you can do if you know how to code it. And Twitch has always been like that. There's always been loads of really interesting things that you can do on Twitch that not many people do, because you literally have to sit down and code.
You have to understand how to do it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's above my head. And I did freaking computer science degree in university. So yeah, honestly, I think channel points are absolutely fantastic.
They are.
There's so
I'm
much
glad there aren't
do
like
with
sub
them.
only or something like that. That would suck.
You do get more points if you're a sub. The multiplier is higher, but there's so many things that you can make happen with that kind of thing. I've seen a lot of people do some really interesting things with it, and I do think it is better than the stuff that was on like the chatbots, like the Stream Elements stuff and all that kind of thing, which I know that I used to use. The only thing about the channel points that I definitely would like to see is I always thought that it was funny that you can't set your own multipliers. You should be able to.
Yeah, I really wish you could. That would be nice.
Yeah, and also to be able to change how many channel points someone actually has, because that was something that I used to do back in the day when we used the bells. I'd do like giveaways and stuff. But the prize for the giveaway would be channel points that you could make things happen with. You know, so then it costs no one anything. It's quite harmless. And yeah, I'd really like to be able to see us be able to do that, because it would just put so much more power in the hands of the streamer.
It would, because being able to control all that, and also being able to see how many channel points people have, because maybe you want to do a big community goal, but who's to say they aren't going to smash it because you misjudge how much points your viewers actually have, right?
Yeah.
And just being able to have control over all that, be able to see, oh, this person's got this many channel points and so on. Or if you're trying to make a big channel point redemption and you're worried like, oh, is someone just going to be able to hop in here and just grab this right away or not?
Yeah. Well,
a
big problem that I always found with
monetize the points.
The bot points was it's a lot of information on chat. It spams chat basically. If someone wants to find out how many points they've got, and if one person does it, a load of other people are going to do it, and it spams chat and all this kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons why I do think that the thing that Twitch actually provides, it's cleaner, it looks better, and it just it provides a better experience all around. I think
we just need to be like, bot meet Twitch channel points, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got this masterpiece done.
Yeah.
But it says how many points you have down there, and lets you do everything, lets you change your channel point, like multiplier and all that stuff.
Yeah, but sort of to sort of put a bit of tie a little bit of a bow around sort of everything I've been saying, like from the perspective of someone who's new to everything, sort of like a new affiliate or something, you might think that there's like there's all these things that I need to do. It's so overwhelming, but at the end of the day, I think the actual content is more important. The perks are nice, but obviously try and you got to prioritize the stuff that's more important. The stuff that's more important is your show. So we're talking about how things used to be, like in how you used to be, because we're going to watch some of your clips in a minute. And and I've watched a few of my own because I really wanted to sort of experience Star Fox Adventures again. I was like, while I streamed it, I watched some of my own stuff, and it's only from about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and you don't realize as you're going along, because you add a little bit every week, like between every stream you add something, and then you don't realize until you look back on it how far you've gone. So I think in reality, like if you just become an affiliate, I really wouldn't stress all of the extra stuff. Like, it seems to me that a lot of people, when they start streaming, they're like, "Oh, I've got to have a
Gotta do
Discord server."
everything,
You
yeah.
really don't. You really
Yeah, I
don't.
think
I mean,
I
obviously, if you've
got
got an idea for a
I
Discord
got 3
server,
emotes made.
yeah, because your Discord
And
server is
then
popping and all that, so it makes sense, because obviously you had a vision and it works out really well. But I think a lot of people get Discord servers just for the sake of getting one because they feel like they should have one, and it's just not. It's wasted time, honestly, and um, it's not going to put you in a good headspace as well because it takes a lot for someone to join a Discord server. I think, and if you're streaming and you're not seeing anyone join, sometimes it can put you in a bad headspace. It's not necessarily like it's something that you may wish to do at some point, but you really don't need to start with it. But
I'm not
I
sure
still feel the
either.
same way about things like emotes and sub badges. Like, I feel like maybe if you can have one emote in the bag, just so that you're not like rushing like I was as soon as you get a sub. Like, oh my god, I've got to have an emote. All
You
this
were
kind
like,
of thing.
"Oh gosh, I didn't have anything." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can have like
I knew
one.
I was
Exactly. So if you can sort of get to a point where you don't really need anything to start, just sort of go with it and add
Yeah.
to it as you go along. And honestly,
For
I
sure.
genuinely feel that you will have a better time of the whole experience than like stressing everything before you even start.
Honestly, something even as easy as like doing your sub badges, you can take something from what you play. So
Yeah.
if you play Pokemon, some people do Pokeballs
Mm,
and stuff like that. It's literally just find one
mm,
with no background, change the size of it, slap it on,
exactly. And also, if
and
you
then
do
you've
it,
got something.
yeah, if you do
right?
it that way, then you've got more opportunity to actually create something that the community is probably going to like as well, because you've got that time for people to come in and actually say, "Oh, it'd be really cool if you had this," and you can be like, "Okay, well, that can be my sub perk
Yeah.
or my, that kind of thing."
Exactly.
Consider yourself satisfied.